Happy Good Friday, everybody. Welcome to the Friday edition of Burn It Down with Kim Brown. This is the safe space where we set oppression ablaze. And baby, we got some shit to burn down on today. Goodness gracious. I'm so glad and appreciative that you all have made some time to come kick it with your homie on a Good Friday evening. Hey, I just want to take a time to shout out everybody that has come through and rocked with us all year. I know it's probably a little early to start doing, end of year shout outs and appreciations, but I did want to thank you guys for all that you do. We've had a really good year over on Burn It Down with Kim Brown. I don't fucking know. I was gonna say we've added so many subscribers. I don't even know what the number is, but I know it's more than one, right? So we've added many dozens of new subscribers, and I'm so glad that you all have come over here and found us and said hello and all the things. Somebody left a comment specifically, and I want to read it really quickly. They left us a comment in the comments under one of our videos. Hold on, I don't have it pulled up on screen, Will, so my bad for that. But big up to Screen Arts, because Screen Arts left a comment and said, Kim, I'm not being offered your live stream. Has live audience grown smaller? Yes, Screen Arts, it totally has. He says it's a video. It's just not your channel. All of my progressive subscriptions and not and not showing them. What does it say? It says not just your channel, all my progressive subscriptions, and it's not showing them live. And it says that they are getting the notification only after the show is over. Are they getting offered the notification? What in the entire fuck is this, YouTube? what's a guan? What's happening here? How come YouTube is trying to block my blessings? Listen, do me a favor, you guys. If you have discovered that you are having this problem, and not just on my channel, as Screen Arts said, in Screen Arts, thank you so much for bringing this to my attention. If you're having this problem, set your bells. I don't know what difference, if any, that will make, but in addition to being subscribed to the channel, set your bells, because YouTube, is Elon trying to buy YouTube? I don't know what the fuck's going on, but it's always funny how that happens to those part of the left, right? The left media sphere, left of progressive media sphere, always seems to get down balloted, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. The YouTube is not letting me participate in this algorithm, so fuck that. Hit your bells, and thank you so much to anybody that may have been having this problem. Hit the bells on all the channels that you subscribe to. Big up to Black Power Media. Big up to Status Quo News. All right, gang. Well, good, Chewy Craft. I'm glad you got a notification. Maybe it's only notifying members. I don't have. Hey, oh, it's Renee. Hey, Renee Johnson. I'm so glad to see you, sis. Thank you so much for making some time. Let me give some shout outs real quick. What's up, Franny France? John Kemper's in the building. What up, Wendy? What up, James? James is in here. Yipper 99, come through. What's going on, Damien? Stone Alone is in the house. Y'all know how this shit go. If you go over actually to Wednesday's Status Quo show, my interview with Vishal, I was very happy and glad that Vishal was able to make time and come on. As you guys may or may not know, Vishal Singh, who is a anti-fascist journalist who has been covering the rise of fascism and white supremacy. I can't even call it the rise of fascism and white supremacy in California. Shit. The latest evolution of fascism and white supremacy in California. Vishal has been on it for years. And Andy Nogo reported Vishal to Elon, and Elon got Vishal and some other lefty accounts out of here. So my interview with Vishal is actually really good. So go over to Status Quo and check that out. So let's get into the show, y'all. I'm very a little fired up. So quite angry and unsurprised at the developments out of the Biden administration and the democratically led Congress just screwing workers over, and let it be known that the representation of our quote unquote democracy is the representation of the interest of the billionaires and the oligarchs. You working folks? Mm-mm. No representation for you. No pro union president for you. No. We do not deserve good things. Well, fuck that. We over deserve good things. In fact, we are entitled to good things. And the Democrats are insisting on standing in the way. So I want to get right into it. Oh. Also, wait, let me backpedal a little bit. Coming up in the show, I do want to talk about some propaganda, not a cop specific story per se, but it is cop specific. How can I even say that? But so far, as of the end of November, police have killed nearly 1,100 people in this country in the year 2022. Out of the years that this particular statistic has been tracked, this is a record. This is a record. So the police are killing people, us. They're killing us at a record pace, and we're going to talk about it. But I wanted to contrast that information with a piece that came out in the LA Times talking about how police settlements are making cops think twice. And I said, bull fucking shit. Bull fucking shit. No, it isn't. Also, later on the show, I do have something to say about Kanye West. And it's really more about the ways in which internalized self hatred, internalized anti blackness, and the wielding and the weaponizing of Christianity to go hand in hand, all along with his misogynoir, his anti-blackness, and his anti-Semitism. All these things go together, and then clearly Kanye continues to devolve as a person and continues to grow as a very dangerous individual. And the mainstreaming of of what the fuck he's saying, all this shit could have been nipped in the bud if motherfuckers gave a fuck about black women and black people in the first goddamn place and got Kanye the fuck up out of here years ago. We wouldn't even be here if people gave a fuck about black people. But we'll get into that a little bit later. But oh, yeah, well, fuck it. We'll get to the shit when we get to it. But anyway, let's. Hey, what's going on, Imani? Hey, Imani's in here. Oh goodness, I'd be so happy to see the people. Yes, peace, modern relic. Hey, thank you, Nadia, for coming through. Craig Bardo, what a guan, bro. I need you to run up to the run up the Rock Road and go and get me some STL barbecue, shorty. I've been I want some brisket. I want a brisket sandwich. I've had a taste, but anyway, let me get into my show here, guys. So, of course, as you guys have all heard, this week, when the deadline was on the brink, whether or not the rail barons, the owners of the railways, and the members of 13 railroad worker unions were going to come to an agreement. Clearly, no agreement was had, despite the Biden administration allegedly trying to mediate the situation, even though it doesn't sound like they mediated a goddamn thing. They were there to try to get the unions to capitulate to what the owners want, right? To what the rail barons wanted, to what Warren Buffett and his homeboys want, right? And because the Biden administration interfered, well, I'll say interfered, but I feel as though the rail union leadership, from a lot of stuff that I've been reading over the past couple of days, that they really relied too heavily. They had too much faith in the Democrats and specifically the Biden administration, the White House, to negotiate on behalf of their interests in good faith. And I know, well, let's hear from Joe Biden. Let's hear what the fuck Joe Biden is out here making excuses, copping pleas, and just note, even though we're going to see this clip, French President Emmanuel Macron is not in this clip, but just bear in mind that Joe Biden was making this statement from the White House while hosting his first ever state dinner, and just the clash in class allegiances. And not to say that Biden has never been on the side, he's not been on the side of working people, so we know where his class allegiances are firmly situated. But for him to always say and be, standing on his quote unquote record as a pro-union president, he's been a pro-union guy, while kneecapping these railroad workers out of their ability to strike, which is their legal right, but for the Biden administration putting the press on Congress to make it illegal. So he has diminished workers' abilities to dictate for themselves the conditions in which they want to work under while hosting French president, fellow imperialist, fellow capitalist Emmanuel Macron as they dined on Maine lobster and woo woo woo. But let's take a look at what Joe Biden had to say.
Do the freight rail workers deserve more than 1 day of paid sick leave, like millions of Americans have? And if so, why didn't you negotiate for that when you were helping to negotiate that contract that you now want Congress to impose?
I love you guys. I negotiated a contract no one else could negotiate. The only thing that was left out was whether or not it was paid leave. You know, I've been trying to get paid leave, not just for rail workers, for everybody. But that other team, they're called the Republicans, they voted against it. They said we couldn't do it. We're one of the few nations in the world that don't have paid leave for our workers. And so what we're doing is we can't afford to have, and by the way, in the meantime, they got a 45% increase in salary, et cetera. There's a lot of good things that happened in that. And if in fact this shuts down over the question of 1 to 5 paid, or 7 or 9, whatever the numbers would be negotiated of paid leave days, it's going to immediately cost 750,000 jobs and cause a recession. And so what I've made it really clear is that what was negotiated was so much better than anything they ever had, that it's worth, and they all signed on to it, by the way. There are only 4 unions out of the 13 or 14 that didn't agree. So the majority at the time was that I presented it. They asked me to do it. I presented it. They all signed on. But here's the story. It doesn't mean because we are going to pass this, God willing, by Friday, by the time, by the weekend, that I'm going to back off of paid leave. I made it really clear. I'm going to continue to fight for paid leave for not only rail workers, but for all American workers. I imagine it may surprise some of our European friends that there's no paid leave in the United States of America. We're one of the few major countries in the world that don't have it. And it's about time. And so that's the context in which this all took place. And labor signed on to it as well, as you recall, initially. There were 4 unions out of the, I think, 13 or 14 that didn't like it. But I think we're going to get it done, but not within this agreement. Not within this agreement. We're going to avoid the rail strike, keep the rails running, keep things moving, and I'm going to go back and we're going to get paid leave, not just for rail workers, but for all workers.
Oh, you're going to get paid sick leave for workers as you lose control of Congress starting in January. Is that right, Joey? Is that how that works? Per the reporting of Lauren Kaori Gurley, this is as of yesterday. Update: the Senate just voted 80-15 to force a contract between rail workers and unions without paid sick days. The contract will now be sent to Biden's desk and he is expected to sign. So Joe Biden is bragging that could nobody else get this done? Could nobody else negotiate a contract with no paid sick days? Joe, that's not some shit that you brag about, my guy. And then for him to make these lofty promises in the future. Hey, guys, maybe not now, but in the future, American workers will get paid sick leave. Okay. And he said, I'm sure Europeans are shocked to discover. Hey, maybe Europeans might be shocked to discover that you've been in the halls of power for the past 50 years. So under your watch, American workers have not gained paid sick leave. Again, this man it lives on a separate plane because I'm confused as to why he is proud of this, why he is toting this as a victory. Well, I guess it is a victory. As our good sis, the erudite Jacqueline Luqman said that Joe Biden is committed to upholding the empire. So if the rail strike is averted, empire upheld, okay? And the labor has been coming out extremely disappointed in Joe Biden. Do I have that tweet up there? Well, maybe I didn't put it up. My bad. But there was a tweet posted by the railroad union workers. By the way, let me say this, saying that this is part of Joe Biden's legacy, that there's no way that he could ever, again, sell himself to union membership as somebody that is pro-union, pro-worker, and pro-labor, because this is the absolute definition of turning your back on workers and on organized labor. And it just really lets everybody know that both Democrats and Republicans serve the same masters. Okay. And let me step back here for a second. I want to go back to the Senate vote. Okay. Because only four Democratic senators voted against that. Okay. The Democratic senators voting not to break the railroad strike: Liz Warren, Bernie Sanders, John Hickenlooper, and Kirsten Gillibrand. Four Democrats in the Senate. Where was Cory Booker? Where were my senators? Chris Van Hollen and that other punk ass nigga. Oh, Ben Cardin. Okay, I see. Well, I already knew. Don't get me wrong. I already knew what kind of time they was on, but it's just interesting to see that at least Bernie and Liz Warren were not willing to risk their street cred on this particular issue. Like Bernie said, no, nigga, y'all not going to be able to come back and say. Bernie has made definitely some questionable votes. Bernie has stood his ground and held his nuts on some progressive things, and forced some changes into some legislation over the course of his congressional career. And Bernie said, nope, y'all not to die. This ain't gonna be part of my legacy, says Bernie Sanders. But moving on, even when we talk about what happened in the House with the squad just falling down on the job, goodness gracious, you guys, I'm telling you, I continue to be underwhelmed by electoral politics. And I think, again, more so on a local level, they probably have more of an impact. Who sits on your city council? Who sits on your school board? Who sits on your board of estimates? Or and all that shit. That shit is, important. Not to say that the federal stuff is not important, but you cannot expect so-called progressive people, so-called democratic socialists, to go to Washington and themselves not be corrupted by the smothering corruption of the system. Okay. I don't know why AOC voted against workers. I do not know why Cory Bush. I expected that shit from Cory Booker, but goddamn, Cory Bush. I hate to see you go out sad like that, sis. Very, very sad. So where do the railroad workers go from here? So the railroad workers, I'm sorry, I do have a difficulty saying railroad quickly and sequentially, but the railroad workers say that they're not done. They are going to push the Biden administration, apparently, to approve 56 paid sick leave days via executive order, which I think is aspirational. I'm not sure if Joe Biden is going to go for something like this. This is per Intercept reporter Ryan Grimm via Twitter. It says, union source tells me that their next push will be to demand Biden include railway workers in the executive order that mandates 56 hours of paid sick leave. 56 hours of paid sick leave. So that's still 7 days. I hate the fact that we have reached this point in the second Gilded Age in which the income and wealth inequality is so far, it's a chasm, the Grand Canyon wide, many Grand Canyons wide, actually, that people are only able to ask for, not even demand, not even insist, but ask for 7 sick days in an entire year. And you don't have to wonder why, like, young adult Gen Zers and maybe younger millennials, why these people have become so disenfranchised with American work culture, with corporate culture, with office culture. Part of the reason why the gig economy does well, I suppose, and where a lot of people are participating in it. I won't say that the gig economy does well. There's a lot of big holes in the gig economy. But people are more determined. If I'm going to work, if I'm going to struggle, if I'm going to sacrifice, it's not going to be with a specific boss, breathing down my neck, leaning over my shoulder, trying to make sure that I get all my widgets counted in this 8 hours, right? People are trying to take alternative methods, and people are becoming, again, I'm loath to praise entrepreneurial culture. I am not LLC Twitter. I do not be like, well, if you get your LLC, then that's how you build wealth. No. That's how you pay a different kind of tax. I don't know about building wealth. um but I understand why people are not going the conventional way of working, because what is the point? You end up sacrificing so much of your personal life and hours that you could be spending either enriching and learning and having personal experiences out there in the world, or spending time raising your family, or taking care of relatives, or just doing whatever the fuck you want without having to be punching a clock Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, 8 to 4, 10 to 6. People are making a different choice now. And the ruling class is aware of that. The rise of organization and the amount of unionization that has happened, definitely 2022, but definitely starting in 2020, when things really started to get rolling, and that has picked up so much momentum. I know that the ruling class is looking, but that is why they have motherfuckers like Joe Biden in Congress to make sure that the workers stay in their place, and that they should be appreciative that Joe Biden negotiated for them no sick days. They got a nice big bump in salary, 24% over a few years. That sounds all well and good. But if you're experiencing a heart attack and you call out of work and they are docking your check because you're fucking sick, that is not a good balance. And I want to reframe the whole work-life balance. Fuck that. I am here to live first, not work, okay? My work is not the first thing that I'm here to do. I know capitalism says so, but I'm here to let you know that capitalism can kiss my ass, okay, dog? You run me, capitalism, but I get to say no in some shit. And that is the place I say no. So, another reason people are asking, if you could pop up the NY Mag article there, Will, why American railroads refuse to give their workers paid leave. And it has everything to do with them trying to do what capitalism does, and that is exploit the workers at every single turn. So the long or the short of it is, hold on, let me pull up the tab because I did have it pulled up. And what this comes down to for the railroad owners, okay, by the way, who have made record profits this year and for the past couple of years, they have been doing really well. So what it comes down to, according to this piece in NY Mag, which is pretty informative, it talks about the reason these rail owners will not give the demands to the union workers has to do with something called precise scheduled railroading, and it's called PSR for short. And from the article, it says it's an operational strategy that aims to minimize the ratio between railroads' operating costs and their revenues through various cost cutting measures and ostensibly efficiency increasing measures. The basic idea is to transport more freight using fewer workers and rail cars. So, one way to do this is to make trains longer. A single 100-car train requires less track space than two 50-car ones, since you need to maintain some fewer crew members to run two medium trains, right? So basically, wait, yeah. Another way to get more with less is streamlining scheduling so that trains are not running at full capacity as often as possible. All this has worked out poorly for rail workers writ large. Over the past 6 years, America's freight carriers have shed 30% of their employees. And to compensate for this loss, staffing, remaining workers must tolerate irregular schedules and little time off, since the railroads do not have much spare labor capacity left. And that to me is a very crucial point. And to me, that can be used as a point of power and leverage that these unions have. So hold on, backing up to what Joe Biden said when he said that labor approved this fucked up contract. Labor approved their own abdication of collective bargaining, you fucking asshole. Yes, labor approved it, you fucking dickhead. No, 4 out of the 13 rail unions rejected this. And what they seem to fail to mention is that the 4 that rejected it are the 4 largest with the most members. And the other 9 unions that were in favor of the contract said that they would stand in solidarity with their union brothers and sisters if they chose to reject this contract. So, with Joe Biden expected to sign this bill into law over the weekend, what are the railroad workers' options? Well, a lot of people are saying they should go ahead and strike. I am people. It is me. I am a lot of people. I am a lot of people. I have said, and I'm sure lots of others have said that these workers should strike. And truthfully, people have to consider their own personal situation, etc. But one thing that these railroad workers should not be considering is any sort of external pressures on them from politicians, from regular fucking dickhead ass Americans out here concerned about Christmas and holidays and shit. What they should be doing is shutting down this goddamn economy. They should not worry about the consequences and ramifications on the economy, because what they need to do is show how important that they actually are. And like a lot of different industries throughout the pandemic, where the mainstream was categorizing people as essential workers, and oh, look at the essential workers, look at the nurses, look at the grocery store cashiers, look at the the fucking rail workers, look at these essential workers, oh my god, they're so awesome, right? Well, how come they weren't awesomely rewarded with better compensation? They weren't awesomely rewarded with healthcare coverage to match the level of risk that these essential workers were taking on throughout the pandemic. And that's one point that the rail workers also echo, is that don't call us fucking essential workers and then treat us as if we are absolutely not essential, not making any provisions for us to have time off, particularly in times of sickness, because we're still in a pandemic, in case anybody forgot. But that part about all of this is additionally insulting, I think. Like, if you cannot praise essential workers, like, don't praise me, don't tell me this is not to y'all, but just to anybody, like don't tell me that you think I'm good and you think I'm great and you're not going to toss a couple coins my way. And I'm saying that from the perspective of being an employee to an employer. Like, don't tell me how good I am or how good a job that you think I'm doing if you're not willing to add some zeros to the end of my check. Like, I don't want your appreciation. I want your compensation. Okay. Your thank you don't mean shit to me if I cannot pay a bill with the goddamn thank you, or I cannot get some Pat McGrath eyeshadow. I cannot get no Pat McGrath with your thank yous. I need your money. Get the fuck out my face. So what do Democrats actually, hold on, what do we do with this information? Like, what, I mean, not to say that any of us, anybody that watches this show absolutely had no faith in Joe Biden from day, right? So I already know, I'm preaching to the choir here, but like, what do other working people do, particularly those in the Democratic base? Because I don't see Republicans going, they do sometimes, but going out to labor strongholds and trying to curry the labor vote. Maybe some places in Ohio, like, where they build cars and fucking John Deere tractors and shit. Maybe they do that a little bit, but then, the Republicans don't go to Detroit to rally for UAW votes per se. Maybe I have that wrong. But if you are a rank and file union member or someone that supports the labor movement, and you're seeing this from Joe Biden, right? Because you already know that whoever the Republican candidate is for president in 2024, they're not going to even pretend to care about labor. And that is their own internal class issue that, the white folks need to deal with amongst themselves when it comes to that shit. But I just don't see how the Biden administration, I don't see the squad. I just don't see how y'all come back from this. Like, this is a betrayal. Okay, this is complete a knife in the back of some of the most reliable Democratic voters out there. And this is not going to go unnoticed. And should the railway workers decide to wage an illegal strike, which again, I hope they do, because I think America needs to be taught a lesson. The capitalists need to be taught a lesson. Warren Buffett only has $8 billion because workers generated that wealth for him. Warren Buffett is not smart. I don't get it. Niggas spending $65 million or $1,000 to go have lunch with Warren Buffett. The fuck? Nigga was born white, okay? You don't understand what a leg up that is. It does not necessarily require smarts, but it does require strategy and skill. And for Warren Buffett to be at the level of wealth that he is, it requires a lot of greed and a lot of inconsideration and apathy and indifference towards the people that work for him. And it's not like they don't have the money. I saw an article that pointed out the fact that Warren Buffett very casually slid $750 million, $750 million into his private foundation. I think what the railway workers were asking for might have cost, I think, like $300 million. The amount of sick leave that they were initially asking for, the 14 or 15 paid days off, might have cost $300 million, which, by the way, Warren just got laying around his fucking house. He got $300 million in his couch. Okay. The $300 million fell out his pocket when he fell asleep watching the ball game on Thursday. You understand? Like, I don't want to hear that shit from none of these people. If you could pop up the socialist alternative piece for me there, Will, because is this the right one? Mm-hmm. The good sis Shama Sawant, the Seattle City Council member, the only socialist member of the Seattle City Council, in her piece, she laid into the squad, dog. She laid in to these Bamas. She said in the first year after Biden took office, with the Democrats in control of all three branches of government, the squad members abandoned the first two of their commitments. First, refusing to force the vote on Medicare for all, and then rejecting any sort of fight for a $15 minimum wage. Now, the third of these three promises, she talked in the opening about how the squad made all these promises, AOC and the like. Now, the third of these three promises has been utterly shattered, as all but one of the squad members crossed the picket line and voted with the majority of both Democrats and Republicans in Congress to break the railroad workers' strike, cutting off those workers' right to legally withdraw their labor. In doing so, they took a clear side with the billionaire railroad bosses against the rail workers, who have suffered intolerable conditions over decades. And this is a profound betrayal of working class people. And she talked about she went in to talk about the railroad workers, how they have been negotiating for these new concessions for a number of years. And then for the squad, here, pick up where Sister Shama came through. And she said the squad and Congressional Progressive Caucus, oh my God, did you guys see? Anyway, the Congressional Progressive Caucus, the day that the vote went to the House, they put out a statement. They put out a statement saying they was going to stand with the Biden plan. Oh my God. Get these niggas out of here. Let me pick it up. The squad and Congressional Progressive Caucus, including Representative Pramila Jayapal, attempted to give themselves left cover by voting for the second bill that included the rail workers' key demand of paid sick days, right? Oh, that's right. Then they tried to use that little congressional slick thing. Paid sick leave alongside the primary legislation to kill the strike. The sleight of hand should fool no one, as it was widely recognized that the sick leave bill would face sudden death in the Senate, which it did the following day, and that all of that would be, and all that would remain would be a broken strike. And that's the other thing. I don't know who to send to Congress. Like, who the fuck do we exactly send to Congress? Maybe we need to ask Sister Cynthia McKinney, would she consider another congressional run again? Because there's no allies for working people. I thought I had screen grabbed Rashida Tlaib's tweets because Rashida, maybe I just favorited them. Rashida, again, being the only member of the squad to vote against breaking the strike, she put up some tweets, but she was blaming the Republicans in the GOP. And you know what? And that's fine and that's cute. You could blame them, but they're the usual suspects. You already know. The Republicans don't say that they stand with union members. They don't stand with the rank and file. They made that very clear. So to chastise the Republicans, I don't know, but it be your own niggas, Rashida. It be your own niggas, Rashida. It be your own Democratic members. It be your own niggas. So watch Biden sign this bill into law over the weekend. And if the rail workers elect to do an illegal strike, we need to do what we can do to, number one, make sure that you and yours will be okay should there be any major interruptions with freight service in this country. The economy will be upended, and as a result, we have to understand that before it happens and do what we can to either organize your communities, organize your family, organize and make sure that the vulnerable people that you are connected to, and perhaps even more importantly, the vulnerable people that you may not even be connected to, those people who may be isolated or for anything, people who rely like on grocery deliveries and pharmaceutical deliveries, these people will probably be the greatest impacted first. So maybe that's something we need to do. Figure out which mutual aid organizations are maybe anticipating this, or those that are already kind of providing needs for our vulnerable folks out here, and make sure that we got all our shit together, y'all. So let's not act silly when the rail workers do a wildcat strike. The Bama's going to get their Friday paycheck. Maybe not this Friday, maybe next Friday or 2 Fridays from now. They're going to get their Friday paycheck, and they're going to say, "Deuces, bitch, I'm not doing this." And that's going to be a wrap, because guess what? You cannot just find a railroad engineer off the street. Okay, like they are not they're not sitting around at the Home Depot parking lot. Like, you cannot find Bamas to drive a train and maintain railways very easily. So I think the power truly lies in the hands of the rail workers, but most importantly, we have to stand with them in solidarity and also defend them, because the majority of America is not going to fucking understand this shit. Majority of America, oddly, also has some internalized hate against poor people and working people themselves. They think they are the capitalists themselves, that they also participate equally in capitalism with Warren Buffett and fucking Jeff Bezos. So most of Americans, we know, are very ignorant in that way. So try to change minds as much as you can. If anybody's talking that shit in your spaces or in your circles, oh, the workers are greedy, they gonna shut everything down. No, fuck that. Fuck that. They deserve that shit, and we will help them get it. Take a quick pause. God damn, why y'all just be letting me talk all this time? Who else we got in here? Let me see what's going on really quick, guys. I know here we are at the holidays, and just keep in mind that we are supporting the Baltimore Abortion Fund for December, also for November and December, because I announced it late. They were originally our November Abortion Fund selection, but I announced it late in the month. So we are supporting the Baltimore Abortion Fund for November and December. So you can find their link at the top of the box, at the top of the chat, and click on our link tree. We have a link to the Baltimore Abortion Fund, to their donate page in our link tree as well. With the Dobbs decision, everybody, women and pregnant people, second class citizens. Who cares if who cares about these bitches? I care about these bitches. Okay, I care about them. I care about all the pregnant people. I care about people that are. I care about anybody that finds themselves in this situation where they require abortion services as medical services. So that's it. That's the tweet. That's the post. Consider dropping the Baltimore Abortion Fund a couple extra dollars if you got them here at the channel. We will support them with $100, $50 for November, $50 for December. Thank you so much to people like Anna Hart, who has already made a donation to support the abortion fund. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Keep that in mind. Big up, big up, big up. The next thing I wanted to go to has to do with a couple of things. Hold on, let me get to let's pop up the mapping violence if you could for me, Will, because 2022 has really been an atrocious year for police killings. The police have been banging out here horribly in a very, very bad way. The website Mapping Violence has been documenting police killings across the country, and I'm not sure is it's animating, right? It's moving around. Is it just a still image, Will, or is it the actual whatever? Maybe it's just a still image. But they have a very interesting animation at the top of their page, Mapping Violence, where every red dot there represents a police murder. And as of the end of November, I think as of November 27th, police have murdered 1,054 people in this country. That number likely higher now, just because on average, the police are killing about 3 people a day. Now, in a country the size of the United States, 330 million people, a big, huge country, 3 a day may not sound like a lot. It sounds like a lot to me, but and then I think about like some of the concert venues that I go to. And I can very easily name a couple of rooms that hold about 1,000 people. So if you told me at the Anthem in DC, which is one of the newer music venues in DC, I'm assuming holds about 1,000. If the place was packed and somehow everybody in the place died or got killed, that's a lot of fucking people. Like you can very easily visualize 1,000 people out of here. And that's exactly how we need to envision that. Okay. So police have been out here killing at a record rate. And what we have not seen has been the commiserate response in the streets, specifically as we did in 2020 after the George Floyd and Breonna Taylor uprisings. And we have had, and I'm not exactly sure as to why that is. I'm not sure if people got complacent. I'm not sure if people got tired. I'm not really quite sure of the reason, but we can never take our eye off the ball of police violence because it is police violence and state violence. Obviously, I'm definitely thinking about Kevin Johnson here. He should be counted as part of that number, killed by the state. The young man who was executed this week in Missouri, just a horrific situation there. But I want us to keep that number in our head and check out this piece from the Los Angeles Times. And the headline reads, Legal settlements put police agencies on notice about new use of deadly force restrictions. And I said, look at this shiny piece of propaganda. Because as the police have been out here killing at a rate unseen since these numbers have been documented and tracked, I don't think the police are second guessing any fucking thing before they open fire on people. It does not put police agencies on notice, the legal settlements, that is. So, hold on, let me get into this. So, days after Governor Gavin Newsom signed a 2019 law meant to reduce the police shootings, law enforcement union leaders began telling officers that the new policy didn't really change much at all. It did not put more stringent limits on when police can use deadly force. It did not put more stringent limits. Said the president of one of the state's most influential police unions that they wrote in a memo to its members. Hold on, don't give me the window. that it wrote to its member agencies and quote will not significantly impact the way law enforcement performs their daily jobs, according to documents made public with the recent legal settlement. Alarmed by the quote misinformation campaign targeting new restrictions on police and their use of deadly force, the American Civil Liberties Union sued the Pomona Police Department back in July of 2020 for adopting policies and training materials influenced by the union's effort to undermine the law. So, under a settlement agreement reached last month, the Pomona Police Department will be required to train officers on deadly force and compliance with the 2019 legislation that Newsom signed amid national protests against deadly police killings of unarmed Black men, including the shooting of a Sacramento man in his grandparents' backyard in 2018. Civil rights advocates hope that the settlement will finally end the years long disagreement over the importance of law and on the law rather, and send a warning to police departments around the state that they must comply with it or face legal repercussions. I'm sorry. I am sorry. I'm sorry for sniggling. And I'm sniggling because do you think that these police give a fuck about legal repercussions? So long as we still have qualified immunity, people can sue these police departments. They can sue the state. They can sue the city. They can sue. These police have no incentive to stop killing us. None. And while I applaud at least some laws going on the book, it's about law enforcement, right? If the laws are not going to be enforced, then what? Taxpayers just continue to pay out these multi-million dollar settlements, obviously to deserving families of victims of police violence, brutality, and police murder. But does this disincentivize the police from killing people? Apparently not, because 1,054 people as of November have been murdered in this country by police officers. I really think that people are gravely mistaken about what the consequences are or what they are not when police kill people. Usually they go on paid administrative leave. That means paid fucking vacation. You don't have to go to work, but you still get a paycheck despite the fact that you murdered somebody. Most states still have a police officer's law enforcement bill of rights. The police do not, if they kill somebody, they don't need themselves to submit themselves to interrogation or offer up a statement to investigators for like 7 days. I mean, it ranges depending on where in the country you are, but the bottom line is police are not required to talk to the police, other police, when investigating a police murder, which, sounds pretty fucking sweet. And they get a lot of legal representation help from their unions, powerful unions. And the police unions ain't shit because the police are not actually workers. They are there to protect the elite class. And in this article, like, again, I'm not so sold about whatever settlement that the Pomona Police Department had to do. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to training, this is how these police are trained. They are trained that they have to make it home at the end of the night. Fuck everything else, including the Constitution, including the Fourth Amendment, including, people's right not to be executed on the street for either minor infractions or no infractions at all. And the ways in which these police murders are overwhelmingly racialized against Black and brown people, with us overwhelmingly being the victims of these policemen. We have to get the we gotta get the defund back. We gotta not to say that the defund police call and abolish the police call that they ever went away, but they were so easily diminished and demonized by mainstream media and by elected officials, particularly elected Democrats. Fucking James Clyburn. I'll never forget that. Jimmy Clyburn sat up there and said defund the police was a catchy slogan and cost the Democrats seats in 2020. Okay. Meanwhile, the police are overwhelmingly killing us, and nobody in Congress seems to bat an eyelash. They just think it's very normal for the police to murder 1,000 people across the country. And my assumption, well, I'm guessing that number is actually accurate because it's tracked by journalists and people who are cop watchers. Okay. When the actual numbers come out from, let's say, the FBI, because again, federal law enforcement agencies they don't have no oversight over individualized police departments in cities and states across this country. They really don't. They ask these departments to submit their crime information, particularly their use of force information, and for those that were killed by these respective police departments. And the majority of police departments, they don't submit that shit. They don't submit that shit. The American government itself does not have accurate official data on how many of its citizens are killed by agents of the state. And even within that number, 1,054, I believe those are just the people that were literally killed, shot and killed by police. It does not include the amount of people who died while in police custody, those who died while waiting for an opportunity to get out of jail. You know, they may not have been able to afford to bond themselves out. We don't even have an accurate number of those deaths in this country. America is a death camp. That's it. It's a death camp from start to finish. It's a death camp. There's a we have been so socialized and conditioned to accept mass death in so many different forms. I'm telling you, this country is in a very deep psychosis, and I'm not sure if America has the ability to wake up in mass, but that's why we got to wake people up one at a time, one at a time. Let me take a quick pause. Uh, Everybody, come on in. Give me a thumbs up on the video, please. And thank you if you're not already subscribed. Take a moment to please subscribe to the channel. I surely appreciate it. We did cross the 3,400 subscriber mark, of which I'm glad. It would be really nice if we could get to 3,500 before the end of the year. That's my Christmas ask. No, fuck. No, let me not say that. Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa. That's what I'm asking for Kwanzaa. Y'all can give me that on emoji. And we can work our way up to Kuji Chagalia. Let me get them. Let me get that 3,500 subscriptions by the end of the year. So tell a friend to tell a friend. I sure appreciate it. Yo, I'm glad to see the people up in the spot. We got some new faces up in here. Is everybody being cool? I haven't been looking at the chat. Um, well, y'all better be cool because Courtney and Latif will get you the fuck up out of here. So just a heads up. Just a heads up. Everyone behave yourselves accordingly. Oh Lord. Speaking of behaving themselves accordingly, Lord. Clayton Bigsby got the stem cell surgery. He got the stem cells injected in his eyes and his vision came back. Then Clayton Bigsby came back to have a phenomenal career as rapper Kanye West. And then when he changed his name to Ye, oh, Clayton Bigsby. Clayton Bigsby has been out here wiling the fuck out. And of course, I'm talking about Kanye. Woo chow. Woo chow. When you see a self-loathing motherfucker, you know them when you see them, okay? Know them by the clown mask that they wear. And sometimes it'll cover their whole face. So as you all know, I'm sure, and I apologize if you have intentionally been avoiding Kanye shit. And I can understand why you would do that because I too have been avoiding it for a number of weeks. But here we are again with this man, this black white supremacist, this very he's at this point I was going to say misguided, I was going to say, troubled. No. Mm-mm. Let's play the clip and then I'll come back because some of this shit, it's like you really got to see it to believe it. So let me bring you up to speed. So we know that Kanye has been on a right-wing media tour, beginning with fucking Tucker Carlson, and he went on Piers Morgan. Then he went on fucking some other fucking right wing motherfucker I don't know, Tim Pool. Then I'm very disappointed in myself that I even know this much about it. But what has capped it all off was his appearance yesterday on Alex Jones's InfoWars. Now, Alex Jones himself, a very controversial figure, a very controversial figure. You know, they just ran his pockets for $1 billion because he was saying that the Sandy Hook victims, the children, the dozens of children that were mowed down by gunfire, he said that thing was a hoax. Again, to me, a very big red flag that America's psychosis is so deep because that particular strain of crackerism was denying that white children were mowed down as a part of a mass shooting, which to me, I said, wow, y'all, these motherfuckers is gone. They don't even give a fuck about white kids no more. This shit's crazy. So this is who Kanye West is now in company with, along with white supremacist Nick Fuentes and some motherfucking schmuck. I don't know who the fuck these Bamas are. So anyway, this is who Kanye kicks it with nowadays. Not to say that he was in the greatest company when he was hanging out with like Jay-Z and T.I. but now I don't know. Now he's just rolling with a different set of assholes, I suppose. So here's the clip of Kanye West on Alex Jones' show. A clip, because there could have been easily 15 clips to select from, because he was saying wild shit. But the biggest thing that's getting the attention was his praise of Hitler and his insistence that, you know, we can't be dissing Nazis all the time. Whose man's is this? Whose boy is this? Anyway, let's check out the clip and we'll come back.
Well, that's right. You're not Hitler. You're not a Nazi. You don't deserve to be called that and demonized.
Well, I see good things about Hitler also. I love everyone, and Jewish people are not going to tell me you can love us, and you can love what we're doing to you with the contracts, and you can love what we're pushing with the pornography. But this guy that invented highways, invented the very microphone that I use as a musician, you can't say out loud that this person ever did anything good. And I'm done with that. I'm done with the classifications. Every human being has something of value that they brought to the table, especially Hitler. How about that one? Ari Emanuel, how you like that one? Hey, Ron, you gonna do anything to fix Chicago? They want to separate and confuse the Christians and make us afraid to stand next to each other. A Christian can stand next to anyone. We can go visit R. Kelly in prison. We can go talk to Harvey Weinstein.
That's what Jesus did.
Yes, because Jesus can save everyone. But if the Zionists can get us so afraid that they're going to do what they've been doing to me, attempting to put me in jail, freeze my accounts, smearing me on the media, all of these things, you put on the whole armor of God and they will not be able to break your spirit.
Yikes. You know who else put on the whole armor of God? The Ku Klux Klan. You know who else put on the whole armor of God? All of the Catholic priests who were abusing children around the globe for hundreds of years. I think that's safe to say. That's a safe assumption, right? Like, it's so weird and also very dangerous and telling to hear him. It's so odd to hear him go so hard for Christianity. And it's like, do you understand the amount of harm that has been done to people that look exactly like you, Kanye West, in the name of Christianity? Are you aware of this? And I am not equipped to get into a discussion about Judaism and Zionism. I encourage you to please go over to Black Power Media, where some very sage minds and learned scholars, some learned doctors have weighed in and offered brilliant clarity and analysis on that. I encourage you to do that. I am not the one for that. But this nigga is on one, and he's been on one for some time. And the ways in which Kanye has been allowed to get and ratchet up his rhetoric to this point and now it's a big deal about his anti-Semitic comments, which it is a big deal. I'm not going to minimize that. For this nigga to be bigging up Hitler, it's a very odd take. And I saw some folks on Twitter actually point out the fact that the good sis Erica Badu at one point in Twitter also said that she had empathy for Hitler. And I think that is kind of an indefensible thing. But trying to put myself in people's shoes, Erica is one of those love and light woo woo chicks, right? She's going to tell you that the devil, that she's going to tell you about the devil when he was still in heaven before he was cast out of heaven. How the devil didn't always be on some bullshit. How the devil used to do some all right shit before he became the devil, right? She's one of them chicks. Like, I'm gonna find the good in everybody. Kanye is being very disingenuous here, and all that he is trying to do is continue to manufacture outrage for his comments and continue to stand further in allegiance with those who are the mouthpieces of white supremacy in America for the most part, right? But all I see is somebody who hates themselves. I see someone who hates blackness, is anti-black, who hates women, who is misogynistic, who has a particular animus for black women. He's misogynoirist, right? Like this guy, I can't say it's time to dispose of him because it's been time to dispose of him. And if anybody, and collectively, even we as a people, black people as a people, the hip hop community, and if if mainstream wider America really gave a fuck about black people and black women, Kanye would have been canceled a long time ago. Okay, he would have been canceled a long time ago. He should have been very properly canceled when he was endorsing and stumping for Donald Trump. I mean, that was a fireable offense, absolutely. And I'm sure there are probably a number of fireable offenses that predate that I'm just forgetting because there's been so many. there's been so many. But when he talks about the Christianity thing, just note that, because a lot of people, and I'm not even sure what the extent of the defense of Kanye could be even right now. I think, some of the commentary I saw regarding those who watched this Alex Jones interview in its entirety were saying how Alex Jones appeared to be very uncomfortable. How Alex Jones was trying to get him to pump the brakes a little bit. And let's be clear. Kanye West is no more of a bigger anti-Semite than Alex Jones or any of these fucking right-wing fucktards. Just for the simple fact that some of them will be a little bit more discreet in how they voice their anti-Semitism. At the end of the day, Alex Jones knows that that's maybe a contingent he doesn't really want to smoke with. So that's why he was like, just say that. We can say that off air, Kanye. Don't say that right now with the cameras hot and everything and the mic hot. And what the fuck was this nigga wearing on his head? Why do he have his face covered? I know why he had his face covered, because there's a part of him that is ashamed of the things that he is saying, because there's a little part of Ye that was kind of like when Han Solo had been taken over. No, wait, that's a different movie. No, okay, no, I'm thinking of the right one. I'm still thinking of Harrison Ford, but I'm thinking Indiana Jones. When Indiana Jones, oh my God, that was a fucking colonialist adventure too, was it not? Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, when the brown people gave Indiana Jones, I guess, the voodoo mixture, whatever the fuck it was, and the nigga was in a daze, but he didn't get snapped out of it until he got hit with the fire. And I feel like there's a teeny pea-sized part of Kanye's consciousness that understands that this is shameful in what he's saying. That's why he had his face covered up like that. I feel bad for his children. I feel bad for anybody that might be influenced by Kanye's rhetoric and might be moved to violence, right? Because that's usually what happens when these kinds of targeted denigrating views aimed at specific groups when these kind of things get platformed. And that's exactly what's happening with this right-wing talking points tour. He's being platformed by these people for all this anti-Semitic shit. And I'm sure anything anti-black, he's willing to hop on that too. And I'm sure he definitely has, but I can't watch all the Kanye things, everybody. I love myself too much. I love myself too much. But I will say this. The part of the reason why I wanted to say something as well is because at the end of the day, we are not in community with him now, but Kanye does come out of our community. Okay, he comes out the black community, and trust me, whatever the fuck he's on right now, we don't bear any responsibility for, or we don't have to speak up on his behalf at all. Fuck that. No, no, no. But but because he's black and comes out of the hip hop community, I feel compelled to say that everything that has happened with him, it's okay. It's past time to throw him away. And even when I even find myself commenting on it, and I'm loath to do so, but I think the reason that I do so is because at the end of the day, I purchased this man's music. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's got me looking at myself like, what in the fuck? How come? How come I couldn't peep this from years ago, from way from college dropout? How come? Why is this side of him coming out now? And some would argue it's his mental illness presenting itself, but I very much disagree with that. There might be elements about his behavior that could be influenced or could be directly tied to his mental illness, but anti-Semitism is not a feature of bipolar disorder. Okay, like misogynoir is not a feature of bipolar disorder. Like, these are things that he has had within him for some time, and only now he feels unable to do so. So, and trust me, as somebody who I would consider myself, as somebody who has definitely committed acts of career suicide from time to time, this nigga takes the fucking cake, dog. Like, I've never seen someone intentionally take a blowtorch to their fucking legacy and go out all the way sad like this, and go out all the way sad like this. But had there been any concern about his anti-black, anti-woman rhetoric years ago, Kanye would have never had the opportunity to get to this point where he is praising Hitler in real time, and coming off like a complete like seriously, like one of the worst people in the world. He just looks so horrific. And I want to correct a little bit of misinformation here too. We'll pop up that tweet from Kanye, because Kanye has had his Twitter account suspended again for the second time. The first time he was suspended was before Elon Musk took control of ownership of Twitter. And it's when Kanye had tweeted about he was going to go DEFCON 3 on the Jews. He had his account suspended after that. When Elon Musk took the reins, Kanye had his account reinstated. And then Kanye tweeted out last night, not this tweet. Oh, well, he did tweet this out, but he tweeted out the Star of David and a swastika merged together. And what's been widely reported is that that was the tweet that got Kanye's account suspended, which is false. False. Because, Elon, apartheid Clyde, he just has a problem with the anti-Semitism being so loud, right? I'm sure he has anti-Semitic views of his own. But it was, in fact, this tweet that got Kanye suspended. Okay? And the scroll, run it back, Will. Because I don't think people know what they're looking at. Because I surely didn't know what the fuck I was looking at. I said, what am I looking at here? So to the right, it's Elon Musk shirtless. You know what? No, I can body shame a billionaire, right? Ooh, how many billions you got? And you coming out pasty? You looking like Larry Holmes, all flabby and sick. I'm sorry, that was inappropriate. But he's getting hosed down by some other shirtless white man, and I don't exactly know in the context of which all this is happening. But Kanye said something at the top, said, "Let this will be my last tweet," and showed Elon getting hosed, basically. And he also posted some screenshots of their DM conversation where Elon had asked Kanye to take down the Star of David and swastika tweet. And I think Kanye refused and instead tweeted this instead. And that is what led to the suspension of his account. So, if you have any Kanye defenders, still hold it on. Hold it on to the genius. Oh my God. Have you heard my beautiful dark twisted fantasy? Genius record, man. Come on, man. No, fuck that, dog. Fuck that nigga. That nigga is gone. Gone, gone, gone. Get him out of here. Dismiss him from hip hop. Dismiss him from rap. I think it's okay to stop playing Kanye's records on the radio. Like, do him the way we should have done him a long time ago. Oh, hold on. Let me circle back to one more thing that he said in that clip when he talked about going to visit R. Kelly and going to visit Harvey Weinstein and how Christians are, we stand with people, da 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 da. Why was he naming the abuser? It's like, why was he naming the people that cause tremendous harm, the great harm, serial amounts of harm? How come he wasn't talking about standing with the survivors, standing with the victims, standing with those harmed by, say, R. Kelly and Harvey Weinstein? Again, because that Christian shit is a front. That shit is a farce. Just like real Christianity, just like actual Christianity, Kanye is using it to uphold his patriarchal position. He stands with the dudes, fuck them bitches, right? He stands with his niggas, R. Kelly, Harvey Weinstein, fuck them hoes. Again, further revealing to us what his true intent and motivations are behind some of this shit. Like, just like there's real Christianity, just use it to uphold the patriarchy and fucking white supremacy. And that's why Kanye is a Christian. It's the religion best suited to accomplish those goals. So, gang, Kanye's new name, Kanye is acceptable. We will accept Kanye, but I'm telling you, Clayton Bigsby, the black white supremacist, I'm telling you, the rise, or rather, the visibility of these non-white black supremacists, again, I'm not surprised by it, but it's just wild to see. Just wild to see. And just a final thought about that. I saw somebody on social media talk about Ben Shapiro, and and I'm curious actually what like Jewish fans of rap and people who might have been fans of Kanye, like I'm sure they kind of feel. I would love to know. Is Silberg in here? Damn, I'm just making assumptions. David, are you in here? I was even thinking about reaching out to Peter Rosenberg because I know PMD from back in the day. But I know Peter Rosenberg is a real hip hop fan. You know what I'm saying? And I know, he is Jewish. So I'm wondering, what do real rap fans of Kanye West, of Jewish heritage, like what do they really think about this shit? Are they ready to get him out of here? But I would hope so. I would assume so. Hey, Tasha. Thank you, baby girl. Thank you for checking in. Big up to Leroy. Thank you, Crip Hop Nation, for your super chat support. Hey, Big Teal. I don't know, where is David? These are excellent questions. Somebody find Silberg. Oh, Silberg might be kicking. No, let me not put David out like that. I was going to say, because Biden is up in Boston, right? David's probably at the fucking fundraiser, eating some lobsters and shit, getting bumped by the black dudes when they see David with his black wife. But no, I'm just fucking with y'all. So anyway, that's my little rant about Kanye. Get this motherfucker out of here. You should have got him out of here when he was wailing on, not physically, not to my knowledge anyway, wailing on black women and got all this smoke for black women. Should have got that nigga out there then. Shouldn't even give him a chance to get into anti-Semitism. But nope, that's not how this works. And last but not least, guys, speaking of the royal family, which I'm not about to get into the royal family, by the way, but the baby girl, the dean of the school of Ben's Punani womanism. I've been telling you guys about podcaster Kelechi Okafor, and Kelechi is not just a podcaster. She's an actress. She does all kinds of shit. I know you guys are like, Kim, get off her dick. No, I will not get off her dick, because I heard this woman on her podcast, and I've said, That sound like me, except way more eloquent, way more articulate, and speaking with a very palatable British accent. Usually I am repulsed by the British accent, but when it comes from black people and Damien, I'm not repulsed by it at all. I said, hey, that's my diaspora sis over there. So listen, so this whole kerfuffle happening across the pond with a black woman who was an invited guest to Buckingham Palace. I'm not sure if you've heard this story, you probably have. A black woman was an invited guest to Buckingham Palace. She was approached by a member of Queen Consort Camilla, a member of her staff, and this lady, what's the bitch name? I'm sorry, damn, I mean, my bad. What's the bitch name? Well, no, we can call her a bitch. Yeah, what's the bitch name? Lazy Susan Hussey. I swear, the first like 2 times, I said, "Is it Lazy Susan Hussey?" Lazy Susan Hussey. I said, "What a name!" I said, "That suits that Hussey." Lazy Susan Hussey. Lazy Susan Hussey apparently accosted this black woman, who again, a guest, by hitting her with a number of questions about her country of origin. And I'm sorry I don't have the black woman's name in front of me. My apologies. I'm not naming her for any particular reason. I just didn't write it down. But anyway, so the black woman, who was British born from London, was peppered with a number of questions about her place of origin. So where are you from? I'm from London. No, where are you really from? From London. No. Where are your people from? So apparently this went on for a duration, and the black woman shared her experience, which has caused, as they say across the pond, a row. Every time I hear the word row and I see it, I said it's a row. It caused a row. It caused a row over there. To the point that Lazy Susan Hussey had to resign her position. By the way, she was a very close confidant of Her Majesty the Queen. Lizzie's in a box. We still celebrate Lizzie being in the box. And put this Lazy Susan Hussey, let her be right there next to Lizzie at some point, talking this dumb shit to random black people. Oh, and she also touched the black woman's hair without permission, of course. So, with what's the other bitch's name? Kate and William being here stateside for some random shit. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. So this has caused a little bit of a controversy, right? And of course, the royal family says, we do not condone racism in any form. Okay, except for all the forms, enacted by your ancestor, including your grandmother, Lizzie, Queen Lizzie in the box. So I said all of that to say, I just saw this on Instagram literally today. Kelechi Okafor. Kelechi, they call on Kelechi over there across the pond. They'll call on her to come be on TV and she will read motherfuckers down. And I love her to pieces for it. So I just wanted to play you guys a clip of Kelechi. I know you guys, some of you all, I don't know who has checked out the podcast and who has not, but I know sometimes y'all probably get sick of me talking about this lady. But I know she's the fucking truth and I want to big her up at all times. So check out Kelechi's appearance on Sky News, where she was responding to the question about Black, British, and otherness. So let's take a look.
To me, the royal family is a representation of that. The hierarchical structure that we have, they are at the top of it. If this is some sort of weird pyramid or colonial pyramid, they're at the top of it. And by them going, then we can, address the other kind of facets of racism in our society. Of course, I've experienced it. People ask me, where are you from? No, where are you really from? And I'm tired of trying to describe the inner workings of my mother's uterus because it's been 3 decades since I've been there. And I can't, I'm not tracing everything all the way back, but it is that idea of being Black does not make you British. And to be othered constantly is soul destroying when you are contributing to what makes this country, quote unquote, great. So yes, the monarchy going doesn't get rid of everything, and we do definitely need to have a very in-depth conversation about racism in Britain, because we talk about it so cyclically. Does it exist? Has it gotten better? Rather than just saying, you know what, we're still at the same place that we were, I don't know, I would say 60, 70 years ago, even though there are things that might tell us differently. Our day-to-day interactions with white people or just other, racialized minorities in this country, it tells me that anti-Blackness is still pervasive. On your point about Meghan coming in to help the royal family, it is not the duty of the people who are harmed by racism to come in and fix it. It isn't. And so Meghan does not have to do a single thing. It is for the royal family to deal with themselves and to pay somebody to help them if they're going to stay.
Ooh, spit these bars to make your head split. Come on now. Come on now. Do y'all get why I stand? Do you understand why I stand? I stand. Black British babe, Niger babe, Ben's Punani Womanism. She is the founder of Ben's Punani Womanism. I'm trying to tell you. Kelechi Okafor, the name of the podcast officially is called Say Your Mind. Please go subscribe to it. It's on Spotify and iTunes. So let me big up the good sis Kelechi Okafor for always spitting the thing. She always says it so beautifully, so eloquently, with humor, with wit, with cheek, as she would say, with them. I love her. Oh my gosh, she's amazing. Tasha, thank you so much for your super chat support. Timo, thank you, thank you, thank you for all your support. We appreciate you, Tasha. And I appreciate everybody that has been rocking with this podcast. Again, guys, YouTube is trying to place on some bullshit. So please set your bells. You know, let's ring the alarm. I've been doing this too long, and I'll be damned if you get another notification on your phone. You know what I'm saying? So set the bells so you can be in the place to be. What's up, Alice? Hey, Schultzy, Spin Cycle Dragon, Big Chill, come true. Yeah, y'all see it. Y'all see the vision. Donnie is in here. Afraid not. I love to see it. My niece is in here. Alicia the Commandis. What's up? And of course, Latif, thank you as always for all of your ongoing support and for doing what you do. Screen Arts Media, I read your comment at the top of the show. Go back and check it out. Okay, I think, oh, Strin, thank you so much for coming by, babes. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Y'all be sure to have a good weekend. Please be safe out here in the street. What's up, Nat? COVID is out here jumping on people. RSV is climbing up to the top rope and doing the weak ass rock leg drops on the kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, because RSV is out here doing whole ass wrestling moves on your children's respiratory systems. Please mask up, guys. Like, it's not a game. The government is not out here to help us. All they got to say is go get vaccinated against A, B, C, and D. Fuck that. Stay in the house as much as you can. And if not, at minimum, mask up when you are in indoor spaces around others, particularly around kids, okay? On behalf of Molly and Will, we appreciate you guys. 2 pieces! See y'all later. Bye-bye. See you over on Instagram in a second.